everybody thinks it's a program here, and it's not. We're a full-fledged business, 100%. We got great workers that are here, and so sometimes it's perception that oh, okay, well, you support people with disabilities, that it's a program. No, we're a full-fledged business, and we're hoping that more and more people that tour and see our facility and know that it's an operational site, fully 100% contract manufacturing, that they'll understand that when you walk through our facility, you're not going to know who has a disability in many cases, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't look at somebody and say, oh, they think they have a disability. They should be just treated as a person, and that's it.
No matter where you are, we're really lucky in Rochester, New York. There's our organization, and then there's others like us. So there's a lot of opportunities, and in New York State, to support people with disabilities, to give them opportunities. If you want, to work, if you want to be part of something, there's a really good chance that you can find a way to do it. I hope other states follow suit, and that that people with disabilities are treated as a group that is that to give them the opportunities that they deserve, and that they get not pushed on the back burner, but also but pushed to the front, and shine a light on them. We try to shine a light on the abilities of the people that we support, and they can do great things. And I think with just a little bit of accommodations, they can really flourish. So I hope that other organizations, and I hope that this administration gives them value, and I hope that they are just given opportunities to grow and to be the people that they want to be, because they're just people.
Welcome back to another episode here on the Hart and Hustle podcast. This time, I got two for the price of one. I got two leaders in the house from ArcWorks. We got Mike and Kristen. How you guys doing this morning? You guys excited for a new episode on the Hart and Hustle podcast? This is my first,
Absolutely.
by the way.
Your
This is
first?
my first. So yeah. So when you guys asked me, I was like, yeah, I was definitely down for I guess the challenge, but not really no challenge. We're just having a conversation here, guys. So, Kristen, if you want to go ahead and start off, what is your role at ArcWorks?
Yep, so I actually work for the Arc of Monroe. We're a chapter in Western New York that supports people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And ArcWorks, what Mike oversees, is a division of the Arc of Monroe. And so ARCs, you might be familiar with that term, the ARC. We are all across the United States. There is the ARC US, there is ARC New York, and then there are many other ARCs in states and counties and chapters throughout the United States. So like I said, we support people with disabilities. We were founded in 1956, and it was really founded by families who said, we want more for our loved ones who have disabilities. There should be more opportunities, more to life than maybe sitting at home or even being in an institution. So it was created by families who saw potential in their loved ones, and it's been around for almost 70 years now. And so we are very proud to be a leader of this space in our area. And we offer a variety of opportunities for people with disabilities, anything from residential homes to day programs to opportunities for work and growth, volunteer opportunities. So lots of opportunities for them to be people just like you and me and Mike that want to just have lives of individual lives and do things that mean something to us.
I love this. And this is where Mark comes in. Mike's not Mark. I'm going to see Arc the whole time and think Mark, but it's really Mike.
No problem.
Mike, this is where you kind of come in and really in a sweet place, because I haven't really seen this in organizations. Can you kind of tell us, Mike, what you do and what you run over at ArcWorks?
Sure. We have an 85,000 square foot manufacturing facility. We support about 65 to 75 people supported, and then we have about 45 non-disabled staff that help support them gain the skills to be able to work here as well as anywhere else in the community. Love it. This facility we've had probably since 2007, but overall ArcWorks has been around for about almost 62 years, 63 years.
Love it, man. And tell us, how did ArcWorks become a thing? Not every organization is running that part of the business. How did this become a thing for Arc Monroe?
really, one of the main things that we try to do at the Arc of Monroe is continuum of care, and that means we want to cover all assets and areas that people can grow and learn from, right? So we have residential for people that need a home. We have day programs for people that want to learn skills in a day program. We have community programs for people to learn in the community, but we also have, we wanted to, everybody has the right to work, and we wanted to make sure that those people that wanted to work, we had a place where they were comfortable in working and gaining skills to be able to work out in the community.
I love that. And did you have any big misconception about disability services before even joining the ARC and seeing what the possibility actually was, Mike?
I didn't. I have members of my family that have disabilities of various sorts. So I was very familiar with that and looked forward for the opportunity to work here. And I just actually passed my 10-year. So
10 years, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's amazing
Yeah.
work. And I ask you, Christen, can you take me to a moment where you actually saw someone's life completely shift because of the work that you guys are doing at the ARC, and it hits you like, this is why I'm here? Did you remember that moment? I can imagine there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I've been here just about 5 years now, and I work in marketing and communications, so we get the opportunity to tell stories about the people that we support. I'm not necessarily in the homes or in the day programs, boots on the ground, working with the people supported every day, but I get to hear those stories and kind of see things secondhanded. And we have a lot of opportunities to see people really thrive, and I often hear it. When we have award season, around here, we have opportunities to give awards to people that we support. And often they're people who have really overcome something, either through therapy or through the great work that our staff does here in working with them. People come in maybe with some sort of an issue going on in their lives that create behaviors or things that just are challenging to them. And just like anybody else, it's something going on inside that they have to figure out and find ways to deal with. And I think that's what our staff is so good about, is figuring out ways to help them overcome that, help them deal with that, and then to, have a life of opportunity that they were entitled to, just like anybody else. We just opened a home, 2 new homes recently in our county for the ARC. And I know somebody there who got to be part of the music group that performed during the dedication. And I know that man in particular overcame some stuff. He came in, he had a lot of anger issues in him from wherever he was before. And to know that now he's this gentle, sweet man who is just happy and loves music and loves, living a life of that's just a beautiful life now, and he's just so happy, and you would never know he had anything going on before. So like anybody else, to have somebody chat with you and talk with you and help you figure out how to overcome things like that. So I think those are my favorites. To hear about where somebody came and see where they are today is really, really wonderful and inspirational.
Yeah, and it makes it all worth it. And
Yeah.
it really does. I mean, people get into this space, and it's not so much for the money, but it's to hear those type of stories and know they're making that kind of impact. And the stories that we will continue to tell, but continue to remember as well, most importantly. That's why I love the nonprofit space, is the things that you actually get to see and how people change their lives. One, with resources, but also great leaders like both yourselves. And Mike, I ask you, man, you're in a beautiful place where you're getting to see where people never thought that these individuals would actually be working, but you guys put a unique spin to it. Tell us what you guys are doing at Artworks to make sure that everyone can actually handle some of the big machines that people never thought they would be able to handle with disabilities.
Yeah, I mean, we work a lot with our local colleges, RIT, U of R. We get internships that come in for engineering techs. Engineering techs are really familiar with CAD and 3D models. We have a 3D printer on site so that we're able to help create efficiencies and opportunities for people supported that may struggle with one thing. For an example, excuse me, we have a cardboard piece with a hole in it that we got to put a label on it. We create the peg, you put it over the top and put the label on. Every one of them is the same. I was going to try to grab some samples, but and then also we do bags that are thousands of Ziploc bags, and recently our engineer tech bolted them to the table. That's why that one's not here. And you just zip it through, and it does a Ziploc. And while most people think it's real easy to do that, even for myself to do 1,000, 1,500 of those in a week is a little tough on the fingers.
Yeah.
So it supports the people that we have here, but it also supports our assembly operators and other staff as well. And we just think of things outside of the box, and what's best. Obviously, we want to do it the most efficient way, but then we take it a next step further, and how can we support the people to be successful in what we're trying to teach them.
That's good. And you said you've been there for 10 years. I can only imagine you see evolution in what people are actually able to do and some of the machines that they're actually able to manage per se. Tell us, when you first started 10 years ago till today with technology, with innovation, what was it 10 years ago? And what are we doing and seeing today that you're like kind of in almost wow?
Yeah, it's just a lot different. I've been with the Arc for 10 years, but I was in other areas and other positions. I was over the residential and day program. So the cool part of it for me is I've seen people in a residential setting, and they used to tell me about their day of work, and now I'm actually here seeing their day of work. So that's really, really cool to see and be a part of. And some people who may have struggled, even a few years ago, are really excelling at certain things because of the support they get from our agency.
I love it. And Kristen, this is actually very unique, right? Because you guys are in a space where you guys rely on 85% medical. I think that's the model that you guys were mentioning. However, you have ArcWorks that is really also very beneficial. Tell us, why was this a thing that you guys wanted to start, and how this is also benefiting the nonprofit?
Yeah, we are 85% Medicaid funded. So, as you know, with this administration, there has been some talk about Medicaid going away. And, so we've been doing a lot of advocacy on one side to make sure that the government understands what Medicaid does for us, and to make sure that, that we still have that stream of funding to give these people, the opportunities that they deserve. So opportunities like ArcWorks, which is a full-on contract manufacturing facility, that's a revenue generator for us, so that we can hopefully use some of those funds to go right back into programming to support the people that are with us. We have over 1,500 people that we support in our chapter, and so things like ArcWorks, we have some delis. We have other opportunities on the horizon that we're looking at to expand, so that all the revenue and dollars that come from those will come in and support us, and we can hopefully back off some of that Medicaid revenue. So that's a big goal in our strategic plan over the next few years. And I think we're going to do it, because I think Mike and the team over there, they have some phenomenal a sales team over there that's out pounding the pavement, finding all kinds of different opportunities to come in. And then that benefits the people we support too, because then they have a constant stream of different jobs that they're doing. So they get opportunities to try something new. I love to pop in and say, to somebody working on the floor, well, what are you doing today? And they can show you, and they're so proud to be working on different projects. So I think to diversify our revenue is a major, major goal for the Arc of Monroe in the next few years. And I think ArcWorks is right there with us, and will be that prime opportunity for us.
I love it. I love that you guys think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because people are in fear right now with what's happening at the government level and all the cuts that are happening. But it looks like your team is like, well, let's pivot. Let's figure out what's next. We're not going to sit here and just dwell on the negative, but we're going to figure out how do we continue to excel. And that's what's really needed, right? We talk about innovation and really implementing that. And we kind of spoke about AI a little bit as well. How are you guys actually implemented AI both in ArtWorks and at the Arc Monroe?
So we've just are kind of dipping our toe in the AI waters. We're not really there yet. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but we know it's coming, and so we know we have to be open to it. And I definitely think we are. We have a great leadership team who is very open to any ideas that we have at the ARC. But we have a new ARC Advanced Academy training center that we're launching actually on Monday.
Wow.
And so in there, we're going to have a virtual reality lab. So that's going to give the people we support opportunities to perhaps try new skills, learn something new, plus have fun. And so I think, that's going to be a way that we are going to start seeing AI creep in and perhaps that will open the door to other opportunities as well. So that's on the horizon. I think, we here in marketing and the foundation, which is our fundraising arm, we're always kind of keeping our eye open, like how can we find ways to fund projects like that, and also bring in things that will support not only the people that get services from us, but also our staff. Ensuring that maybe that we can't get, we have 800 staff. Maybe we can't get them all out for a certain training, but perhaps we can do an AI training and help them at least get a feel for something new that we want to implement here that will help the people that we support.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the podcast, we first want to say thank you. And we also just want to give you a little insight of what we're up to at Francis. Some don't even realize that we're working with organizations to help them use AI to create that real human communication experiences, whether that's actually supporting your families, those patients, or the entire community. We're actually creating tech that connects. Check it out, francis.ai. I mean, of course, it's happening. It's happening fast. I love that you guys mentioned VR. I was talking to another nonprofit leader. He mentioned how he just received $25,000 in grant just for VR project. I'm like, how cool is it? And really kind of in the same space.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about opportunities that some of these disabilities, some of these individual disabilities are actually receiving. I spoke to a leader, and he met his girlfriend at the time, now wife. She had a disability. So his goal was like, how do I change her life, right? And he went and closed his cafe, moved to, I believe it was San Francisco, took over an organization, but he was able to actually witness her give a speech as an advocate herself. She's 19 years old in front of a crowd, and he's like, she's never done this. But when you go up there and the emotions that were on people's eyes, and me as a proud father, it's like, man, it's so cool, because a lot of times, I mean, especially when we go back years on what it looked like for an institution that have these, right? It was very sad. It's very horrible to look at, but now we're in a space where you're talking about ArcWorks is actually providing them opportunity. We know that now they're living on their own at times. Matter of fact, he said his young one, 19, 20 years old, is living with roommates, and he's like, I'm loving it, and it's cool to see what you guys are doing, and that we're making them a part of the community, and not keeping them away from the community. Mike, I kind of come back to you because I didn't ask you this a little earlier, but what is that story that resonates with you, man? 10 years and you kind of been in every single row, it looks like, whether it's kind of on the for-profit or you're in the warehouse with them. What is the story that you can tell me, Mike, that really still resonate with you, that just allows you to keep waking up every morning and going for it?
Well, it's kind of what you just said, right? How that made that person feel seeing his girlfriend speaking, and how it made you feel as a father. I get that every day. Right? I don't just see it every once in a while. I see it every day. You know what I mean? I get amazed every day. Sure, there's tough days and things like that. I said, but definitely the good overshadow the bad. So it's very rewarding. I brought my kids through. My kids have a rapport with the people that we support in many of the houses. I used to bring them on visits to the houses and stuff like that. So as far as us, my whole family's involved to an extent. And like you said, the number one thing is that every day it blows you away with the achievements that they're having, and then the success that some of them, we hate to see some people go, but we know that they got to thrive. Yeah,
100%. And Mike, when you think about, I'm a big believer that people teach us, our jobs teach us things. What has this being in this kind of realm of work taught you in leadership? And I ask you guys both questions, but I'll start with Mike. What was that thing that you feel you take away in leadership by working with these kind of individuals that are showing you that never give up, you can do it? What other things are you learning as a leader?
I definitely learned appreciation, right? That not to minimize the little tasks in your own life and those achievements. But it'd be empathy. Without a doubt, you learn the collaboration, the camaraderie among the team and the people supported that you're working with. Those are all key attributes to, I think, being a good leader in a not-for-profit.
Love it. And Christen?
I think I echo exactly what Mike says, but I also think patience and not to sweat the little things, because I think before I worked here, and to see what some of the people we support have had to overcome and how they're thriving and having these amazing lives, that anything that might come through my life is kind of small potatoes compared to it. A lot of people who who have overcome really great challenges. And I think so that's something that I take in every day, and it kind of slows you down, gives you patience, like Mike said, empathy, and just understanding that people are different and come from different backgrounds and they learn differently. Even in my own office, there's 6 of us and we all kind of learn differently. We react to things differently. And that's shown me a lot as a leader, how to perhaps approach people differently, because that's what we have to do with the people we support. Not everyone is going to learn the same way or can communicate the same way. So I think that even amongst non-disabled people that I work with, it's great to have that perspective and that different frame of reference and looking at people differently. I think everyone has a bit of perhaps a disability. We're all a little bit, have a disability in us, and a little bit of a little something going on. That term special needs kind of isn't my favorite, but we all kind of have special needs, and I think we all could really do each other a big favor by taking it easy and just being kinder to each other and trying to understand where someone else is coming from.
Yeah, and I think when we spoke last time, you were just talking about human first thinking, which is kind of what you're talking about
Person-centered,
now,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so I really love it. But you're just really not just helping someone, you're really empowering them. And that's just how you guys really walk the line. It's like, I want to empower them. We're not just helping these individuals. It's so cool to just kind of see where you guys both have the love for it. 10 years, I think you mentioned, Kristen, 5 years, right? Like, that is some time that you've put in, and especially Mike, to kind of go to where he's at now and really being the future of it, right? That's where innovation starts. I'm pretty sure it's inside that warehouse where ideas are coming, where some of these individuals, that they have a need, and Mike is like, how do we solve that need, right? Really empowering them to realize, no, you could do it. Don't think you can't do it because we don't have it now. We're going to figure it out together. And that always makes someone feel good when they heard and when they're seen. And I think I mentioned to you guys, like, I would love to be a part, like a fly on the wall, and just I can imagine it's, Mike, you're there all the time. Are they not happy all the time, man? Like, I feel like these people are the most, you talking about, just, they're so happy. They usually have no care in the world. Like, I love to go back to the old high school and they see me, walking around, and it's like, hi. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'll stop there and they'll tell me, I like your hair, and we're just having a conversation. And it is very sad when I see that people, I'll tell you what, actually, my niece, I have a daughter, I have a niece and a nephew that both had disabilities, right? They're not talking. So my daughter is 4 years old. She's like, hey, Dad, why is she like that, right? And her sister, which is older, 16 years old, she says, we're all very different, and we just love her for who she is.
Nice.
And I'm like, man, like, I didn't know how to respond,
Nice.
but my niece responded. I'm like, that's it. Yeah, what a good response, and for someone that young to kind of see it already.
Sure.
How do you think that we got to, or has it done, but to make sure that we're really shining that spotlight on them? What should we be doing? I mean, from both perspectives, Mike and Kristen. I'll start with Kristen. What should we be doing to make sure that they always feel inclusive in what we're doing out in the world, community? You have experience.
I think your 16-year-old there is very wise, and I think young people coming up today they have a different outlook on people with disabilities. They're so used to knowing a variety of people, and through social media, seeing other cultures and other people out there, and I think they're the ones that are going to really change the world. You hear that about every generation, but I think young people today just have a different outlook. And I think, we talk a lot about DEI and what that means, and that's been in the spotlight a lot lately. But I think DEI isn't just what might come to mind, but it's having like an adult changing table in a restroom, family restrooms, having accessible parking, things like that. So I think that's where that's become a little bit more normal. That's of the norm. People think that way. It's not a hindrance. It's not an afterthought. It's like, okay, how do we make what we're building or what we're doing accessible to everyone? And I think, your 16-year-old said it very casually because she's used to that. Like, yeah, people are different and we just get to know them for who we are. And I think we're still not there. We're, a lot of things kind of slap us in the face when we think we're in a really good spot. And we realize that there are still a lot of people out there who don't see things that way. But I think, we're on the right track. And I think just the fact that people are talking about it and thinking about things differently, we're on a good path.
I love it. And how about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing as Kristen said. It's just, treating everybody equally and fairly. You know what I mean? I think it's across the board. Giving everybody an opportunity. Don't create stigmas that people are a certain way. We unfortunately, we have a lot of people that tour our facility, other businesses, potential customers and things like that come through, and everybody thinks it's a program here, and it's not. We're a full-fledged business, 100%. We got great workers that are here, and so sometimes it's perception that oh, okay, well, you support people with disabilities, that it's a program. No, we're a full-fledged business, and we're hoping that more and more people that tour and see our facility and know that it's an operational site, fully 100% contract manufacturing, that they'll understand that when you walk through our facility, you're not going to know who has a disability in many cases, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't look at somebody and say, oh, they think they have a disability. They should be just treated as a person, and that's it.
Has someone already asked for the business model, Mike, like on how to do this and repeat the the processes? Because this is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. How many people have you seen come in and said, I need this, I need blueprint, I need to figure this out?
Yeah, we talk to a lot of companies. We collaborate with a lot of companies. There's a few of us that are out there, and we collaborate, we visit, we tour, we brainstorm on how to do things. But I don't want to share too much because we're kind of a diamond over here.
It is cool. I mean, I'm excited for the Deli too. Where did the Deli all come into this? You mentioned Deli a little earlier. Where's the concept of Deli come from?
It's part of outreach and enrollment, right? You have these departments that reach out, and it's just, again, a continuum of care. You have people that it's listening to what our folks want, and some want to work in a restaurant, right? I want to bus tables, I want to clean dishes, I want to cook. I want to take orders. So, we looked at and we opened up Arc Deli. I can't even tell you, a number of years ago. And we have now came to 3 different locations. We have about 16 people supported. We call it Culinary Career Prep right now. And they're learning skills to work in a restaurant, whether it's the social skills. Part of their day is actually cooking and preparing meals, and the other part of their day is in a training room, or it's at like a Wegmans or a grocery store, or a farm market, looking at how to correctly pick out produce, and then also how to work cash register, how to greet a customer when they walk up to your cash register and take their order and things like that. So it's just kind of evolving, and we do quite a bit of catering in our community. People supported, helped, with our non-disabled staff, helped deliver and set up catering orders. Our chicken French is fantastic for anybody that's listening. And we have a really good taco bar. So I don't know.
I love it, man. I'm almost jealous. This is what you guys do for a living. This sounds too good. This sounds too good. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see this grow. It looks like you guys have really business models that are going to, you talk about the whole Medicaid. I think you guys are in a great place to really balance that out with no problem, with just some of the ideas and how innovative and how creative, and listening to those that need it, right? Like meeting them where they're at is what someone always says. And that's exactly what we're doing. Is I'm meeting them where they're at. This is what they need. Let's figure it out. Because a lot of times people would say there's no possible way. But you have a Mike, you have a Kristen that said, no, we're going to figure it out. There is a possible way. We just don't know it yet. So I love that you guys have been in the space. It's very, very unique. I've spoken to a lot of organizations that are very similar to what you guys are doing, but not in the space of they have a manufacturing warehouse or they have a deli. And you're right, Mike, they're going to listen to this and they're going to try to copy it. They're going to reach out to you, Mike. So expect those calls for sure. What would you love to see, Kristen, when you think about the next 5 years in the space that you're in, of just growth for those that are walking life with a little bit of autism? What would you love to see in this world?
I just love the idea that people just have opportunities, and that no matter where you are, we're really lucky in Rochester, New York. There's our organization, and then there's others like us. So there's a lot of opportunities, and in New York State, to support people with disabilities, to give them opportunities. If you want, to work, if you want to be part of something, there's a really good chance that you can find a way to do it. I hope other states follow suit, and that, that people with disabilities are treated as a group that is that to give them the opportunities that they deserve, and that they get not pushed on the back burner, but also but pushed to the front, and shine a light on them. We try to shine a light on the abilities of the people that we support, and they can do great things. And I think with just a little bit of accommodations, they can really flourish. So I hope that other organizations, and I hope that this administration gives them value, and I hope that they are just given opportunities to grow and to be the people that they want to be, because they're just people. And I think that if we can just give them opportunities and give them the tools that they need and support them.
I appreciate it. Mike, I actually have a different question, man. We've been talking about just a lot of the success moments, but 10 years in, I can only imagine that there had been a tough moment where you really had to push through with love and with grit. Do you remember that time? Because, a lot of people think that life is always peaches and cream, but no, we go through things. I'm pretty sure, as humans, we're in our minds at times. There's an imposter syndrome. There's like, am I doing the right thing? Can you have one of those stories you can share, Mike?
Yeah, well, I became vice president in our residential day program 2 weeks before COVID hit. So now I have, hundreds and hundreds of people I have to keep safe, people we support as well as our staff. I'm like standing back saying, can I do this? And it was tough, nobody knew anything about it. And now I'm responsible for, 204 people that live in our residential program, 315 people in our day program, and trying to keep them actively engaged where they're not just sitting at home. And we could, do something for them. And I had a great team and leadership team, and that was able to pull together, and we came up with plans and implemented, and we were really successful. We had minimal people getting very sick. We had some people obviously that got COVID during that time, but minimal that were seriously ill. And we came out as a stronger unit afterwards. People supported included.
Love it, man. I love it. See, that's why you where you're at, Mike. You're the man.
Yeah.
If you can get through COVID, listen, anyone that was able to take a new position and get it through COVID, that was very challenging times. And I love that, to see so much success that really, obviously it was a very tough time for a lot of people, but there was also so much success I hear from people that were in it, deep in it as well. And Mike, I can imagine that it was you guys didn't know what to do. It was for all of us. It was the unexpected.
Yep.
But for leaders that really stepped up and did their thing, kudos to you for sure. Christen, I ask you, if someone's listening right now and wants to help, but they're not sure how, what's one thing they can actually do today that really makes a difference? A lot of people always think it's a donation, it's money, but there's so much more that you can actually do at the level of no money. So what would that actually look like for you?
I think the common person can really advocate for people with disabilities. That's the word we use a lot. There's really a lot you can do. You can contact your local legislators. You can write letters. You can have, make phone calls to people who are in positions of authority. Sometimes it feels a little old-fashioned, but it's really the way to do it. We hear from our high-level legislators, and we'll say to them, how do we make our voice heard? How do we tell people, please don't cut Medicaid. Please increase, our salaries for our people that are boots on the ground, working in the field. How do we do all that? And they say, you got to raise your voice. You got to band together. You got to get your messaging together, and you got to make calls, and you got to go to rallies, and you have to send, emails and letters. And we do that. We do a lot of that, not just during budget time, but throughout the entire year, so that people who are in positions of authority and leadership will have us and our needs on the front line, on the front of their minds, so that when it's time, that they aren't surprised to hear from us, or surprised that we have these asks. But we don't just ask either. We also try to share throughout the year what's going well in our field too. We don't always want to be there with the handout and asking, can you give us money? Can you give us more? But we want to share the success stories and ensure that people on those levels also hear from us when things are going well too. So that's not just a constant, an ask, but also a celebration and opportunities and success stories as well. So I think if you are a person that's looking to help, there's often chapters that are similar to us throughout the United States, and they are likely doing advocacy work. So give them a call, can I write a letter? Who can I reach out to? Know who your local legislators are, and give them a ring, send them an email, and let them know that, disability rights are human rights, and that we want, for people with disabilities, the same thing that anybody else wants, and that you want to share the message and get that out there.
I love it. I appreciate it. Mike, you ready? I'm about to put you in the hot seat. It's time for the blind question. Are you excited? I'll ask both of you guys a blind question, but Mike, you're up first.
What am I going to Here we go.
This is from Edward. I can't remember what the organization actually was. He's going to get so mad. Anyway, he had a really good question himself from the past leader, so he wanted to make sure he gave it back. If you can go back in time and meet anyone in history, who would you sit down with, and what would you ask them?
Wow.
Kristen, are you ready? Kristen looks like she's ready.
Is that, will I get the same question?
Yeah, same question.
Jeez,
same question.
I am not ready. No, I know Mike is sweating a little bit, so that's why.
So does it have to be a famous person, or is it?
No.
Anybody?
Yeah,
it'd be my great grandfather.
Okay, and why?
What
would you ask him? Actually? What would you ask him? Was the question?
I would probably ask him. He came from Italy, and he started a farm at a very young age. So I would have just asked him on how his path was, and became very successful, but he passed before I was born. I would ask him that, and then ask him a couple questions about my great aunt, but that's beside the point.
Okay, Mike. I know that was a hot seat question. I'll let Edward know that he definitely gave us a good question here.
All right.
And for yourself, Kristen.
I don't know. That's a good one, Mike. Maybe I always think like someone like Abe Lincoln. I think for all he went through, I would love to, because I feel like he stood up for obviously a group of people who did not have the same rights as everybody else, and I feel like that's what we do every day too. And so I guess I would say to him, how did you maintain the fight? Where did that drive come from? What was maybe special or unique in your past that made you want to step up for somebody who didn't look like you, didn't have the same rights as you, and that the fact that you pushed for that. And I think that's what we do every day. So to have to talk to somebody who's in that same space and mind frame, I think we have the same kind of inner workings of our brain, that we want to see people succeed and do really well. So maybe just kind of have a little tea or coffee with him and talk about where that drive came from.
You could tell she had a little bit of time to think, huh, Mike?
No, mine was more fleshed out than Mike's, but hey.
That was really good. I love how you tied all that back too. You guys have truly been amazing. What's the website? I think there's 2 different websites going on here. Actually, I totally missed to ask you guys. You guys get to ask the blind question to the next leaders, and this time we get 2 questions. So I'll let Kristen, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. You ask your blind question, and then Mike, you can ask your blind question.
Oh my goodness. I wrote my question down. Where did I put it? Oh, you might have to go to Mike, because I think I lost my question.
All good. Mike, are you ready?
Mine is just, what's your why?
What's your why? Love it. There you go. Kristen?
I found mine. What are you looking forward to next?
Okay, so what is your why, and what are you looking forward to next? I love it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to really have this conversation. You guys don't just hire people with disabilities to feel good. You hire them because they're damn good at what they do. And we found that out today. They can do anything and everything as long as they have Christen and Mike at their side. They're going to make it happen. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have been able to share. Can we actually give some websites out? What is your website if they want to go visit? I think there's two different ones. So Christen, you want to go ahead and give me that first one?
The Arc of Monroe's website is arcmonroe.org. And the specific website for ArcWorks is arcworksrochester.org.
Love it. I appreciate it. Social medias?
Social media, we're on all the channels. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Just search the Arc of Monroe, and you can find all that. And then ArcWorks specifically has a Facebook page and a LinkedIn page as well. So just search us out there.
So if I go
we are
to
there.
TikTok, can I get to see something that's happening behind the scenes at the manufacturing center?
Oh, TikTok is more set on advocacy right now. We haven't done a ton of TikToks over at ArcWorks, but we could do that though. But that's really cool. Focused on advocacy and sharing people's stories and getting out there and talking budget and talking Medicaid and dollars. So
it is a time. It is a time where we got to talk about it. Guys, thank you guys so much. It's definitely been a pleasure. This is a top conversation we love to have on the Heart Hustle podcast. Today, we just happen to have two of them. Hopefully, I did good for you guys watching and for those that aren't here on the show today. This has been Ephraim. We had Christen and we have Mike. Thank you guys so much for visiting the Heart Hustle podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Later.
Thank you.